Welcome to Basic Cooking with Chef Agnow. Today I'm very excited to announce that we are cooking the paella. Yes, my favorite dish. The paella has always been in my mind. It's one of the sexiest dishes you can even have because it's unbelievable. It's got everything you need. The flavor, the looks. It's unbelievable. The rich, gorgeous. I can go on and on. Tasting all the rice that sucks in all that flavor, the juices from the clams, from the mussels and shrimp, scallops, chicken. It's unbelievable. So we're excited to show you how we're going to do it. You can do it at home. This is good. This is full of nutrients and it's easy to do. First, you got to start with some rice. Of course, Uncle Ben's rice is the easiest thing to do. But just please take 1 part solid and 1 part liquid, meanings. If you were using here 2 pounds of rice, correct? We're going to add 2 pounds of liquid, which is basically like 1 liter. So I put the rice in the pan, and then what I want to do, I added some olive oil, 1 ounce olive oil, and I mix it in. I'm doing like we do with risotto. I'm coating the grains with olive oil. The reason behind it, so it doesn't come mushy, so it gets nice and fluffy at the end. And the reason I'm adding the same part of liquid because I want to make sure if you add too much liquid, it will get it will get mushy, it will get overcooked. So 1 part liquid is perfect, and then 1 ounce of olive oil is good to coat them. So that's the way to cook. That's the way I cook rice, and it's always working. So we coated the grains, and now we're gonna just add the stock. It's chicken stock. It's like a 1 liter, and which is 1 quart, around 1 quart. And then we're gonna let it simmer. You won't believe it. It's gonna take probably just no more than 30 minutes, medium to low heat. Cover it up, and it's gonna be perfect. You don't have to worry about it. And then we can start working in our mise en place for the paella, because the paella has a lot of items on it. But that's good because it's the fun part. Going to the store, buying all these seafood things and making sure it's fresh, because you don't want 1 item to be like stinky. It will ruin your whole dish, and the paella is a combination of many things. So you got to make sure all these many things are taken care of it. They're washed, cleaned, scrubbed, and they're perfect, because otherwise, if 1 item is not good, again, you're going to waste a lot of money, a lot of energy, and it's just not good. So you get your rice off the way, then you start cleaning up your seafood. As you know, the clams, if you don't wash them good and scrub them, you may end up with a sandy taste in your rice, and that's no good. And then this is one way to see if your clams, if any one of them is opened, that means it's dead. So you got to discard it. So you got to check your clams, make sure that they are not cracked, they're not open, means they're live. So you got to do 1 by 1, and you got to scrub it and get rid of all the dirt and all that sand. Again, you don't want to ruin your dish, so very important to do this step. And you will see in the bottom of the the bowl we're washing the clams, you're going to see the sand going down and the dirt. So you get this step done, a very important step to get done. And always make sure your seafood is washed clean. And look at the bottom there, you can see some residues of some sand, some dirt. So you don't want that in your food. Hasta la vista, baby. Get rid of it. So then we're going to continue. And then we're going to get our mussels. One thing with mussels, you got to understand. The mussels, they have a beard, like we call it a beard. And then you gotta get them all, basically take that beard off. You gotta pull it out. And then you gotta make sure any dead mussels to be discarded. And look at, every time you buy mussels, there's a tag in there. The tag is very good. When you're working in a hotel restaurant, you want to keep those for 3 months because the health inspector may require to see them if somebody gets ill or sick from that. So anyway, see how we pull in the beard? 1, 2, 3. You pull that. It's like a little black beard. One by one. Take your time and do them all. At the same time, you're checking them out. See, that's no good. Throw it away. And then keep going. This is fun. Paella is always one of those... there's a lot of work making it. But the good thing about it, it's like a shared item. It's like a family thing you can do during the holidays, or you can do during a gathering. You can do like put everything in the paella pan and people can serve themselves, or you can do small plates. This time, because I have some good friends that I know very much, and we're all safe, so we're gonna eat together and we're gonna enjoy our paella. So I'm making this paella enough for 6 people. So that's why you need all this. Just 1 bag of mussels. This may be too much, but what we're going to do, we're going to use some mussels for garnish. And then the rest, we're going to actually take open them up and take the meat out and infuse the meat into the rice. And then when this is cooking, it's going to let some juice, and that juice is going to be also added to the rice. And that's why it's so important not to add too much liquid to the rice. So that's why one part rice, 1 part liquid. So you have a little room for extra liquid from the clams and from the mussels. So we're going to continue clean the mussels. This has a lot of flavor. God, you put some garlic in there. Just one thing to be careful with is the seasoning, the salt. Remember, this is seafood. It's already salty. So when you're doing the salt, you got to be really careful how much you want to put in there. So always rinse, wash, clean, and stuff like that. So these are going to be cooked. We're going to cook them all together, but some of them are going to be like used for garnish, and some are going to be actually opened up and take the meat taken out. So double washing. I know it's a long video, but believe me, it's worth it, because the reason when you're watching it alone like this and I'm speaking about it, you will remember it. You will remember it more than just those shots. There's so many videos right now. All it is like shots. Here, clams. Add this. Add 2 pounds of that. Add 2 pounds. But there is no passion into this cooking. So there's a lot of passion. You should actually hear me when I was doing this. But I had construction going at the same time. So I had to mute it and speak over it. And I'm gonna add a little music, just relaxing music. So, you gotta keep busy during these times because otherwise you go a little nuts. So here we get a little baby squid. So the baby squid, the things you gotta know about it, the mouth. You gotta make sure you take the mouth out because that's where I don't know what they call it, the beak, kind of. You gotta make sure you take out. And there is also like inside the squid there is like a almost like a plastic, like a sharp thing you gotta get out. You don't want that to be stuck in your throat. Wash it very good, and then later on you gotta pull the skin out. Some people do eat that skin, but I think it gets a little tough. Take it out, and I just cut it into rings. Leave the testicles whole because that's beautiful, like a little garnish. And then you can marinate this. Some people marinate it overnight in the buttermilk. It tenderize it, make it more tender, kind of, because of the acid. I did not do that. I just kind of seasoned it, and I stir fried it, high heat. I like it crispy like that. I don't want the flavor of buttermilk in my paella, so. And that's it. And as you can see, I'm taking out all the stuff we don't need. Make sure this is clean. You don't want anything to ruin your dish. And make sure it smells good and it feels good. It cannot be like sticky or anything like that. Checking inside, making sure everything is okay. There's no surprises there. There we go. There's one. So feel it. It's good stuff, but you gotta make sure it's safe. In this paella today, I used capers instead of lemon juice as much. The capers it's just unbelievable the flavor they give to the seafood and beside the lemon. So we're trying to do new things and do different stuff. The other thing is called substituting. If you don't have an item and then you got to stop everything and go to store during this time, these are bad times. Just stay home and substitute and use something that's acidic and has more flavor, just like a lemon. Here's the beak I was talking about. I don't know if it's called a beak or whatever it's called. It's that little sharp mouth. So we take that out, and then we're taking that skin out here. It comes very easy. You just gotta peel it. So patience, 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 patience. You want a good paella, you gotta be patient with it. You can't just throw everything together. I've seen people cooking risotto with paella and mixing everything together, and just like cement and glued all together. I hate doing that. I like the way I like my paella. I like to be a little bit deconstructed in a way so you can actually see things, but the flavor is still infused into the rice because the liquid that comes out of the seafood gets incorporated into the rice, and then you're going to display your seafood on top of the rice. When you have it on the paella pan, what happened, there is some juice that comes out, jus, and it goes right into the rice. So you're not really losing any flavor. Now we're going to clean the scallops. Now the scallops, each one of them have a little muscle. That's the muscle right there. Some are already cleaned, you don't have to worry, but you want to get rid of that muscle because it's bitter. Tough. So the muscles are not supposed to be tough, but when you leave the muscle, it's not soft to eat. So yeah, little small mussels. You don't want those big giant mussels. 12 or anything like that. You want something 25 and above, small. Just be patient, take one by one as you go, and as you go, you're clean under cold water, making sure your food, again, everything's got to be soigné, perfect, clean, sanitized, good. And scallops are my favorite. Scallops, you got to cook them in the thing with them, they cannot be wet, so you got to pat them dry with a paper towel and get all the liquid out. So when you sear them, they dry. Don't put too much oil when you sear them, because you want the crispy, caramelized color on them, and you don't cook them too much either. But to get there, if you have too much oil, you're going to pan fry them. They're not going to get that look. And then if they're wet, they're going to splash all over. So now we took all the mussels out. Now we just got to rinse them a little bit more, and then we got to keep them dry. Good double layers of paper towel will do very well. Now we get some chicken. Actually, this is halal chicken. The funny part is, everywhere you go, the halal chicken, when you go to an event, they charge so much money for it. Actually, I find this halal chicken to be a lot cheaper than regular chicken, but more flavor than regular chicken. So we're just going to cut it. I'm going to use the dark meat, just take the leg and the thigh. I'm going to debone it and dice that meat. And peel the skin off too, because you don't want the skin in your paella. Now remember, we're eating healthy here. No fat, no skin, no all that stuff. But anyway, we didn't use any butter here. So if you think about it, this is a really good dish. It's got a lot of nutrients. It's got some omega-3s in there, omega-6s. I'm not a doctor, but I know it has a lot of good stuff, good things for your body. Seafood is always good, especially the wild ones. Now, also we use white fish. When I was young, I remember we used to use the monkfish, which it's called the poor man's lobster. The monkfish, because it stays whole, it's got that lobster, you say, like consistency. But I had some codfish. Why not? I had cod. Cod is not really the good thing to use for a paella, but I like cod. I just got to make sure I dice it properly so it doesn't get all flaky and it breaks down. So the way when you substitute something, just make sure you cook it properly. So we're going to cook it in a nice big dices so it doesn't break down too much. And the shrimp, you got to make sure you devein him, you peel him. And with the paella, you need to get rid of the tail, because you're going to eat everything together. So you don't want to eat the paella and bite into the tail that has a shell on it. So you get rid of the shell all over. So here it is. Devein it, make sure there's nothing in there. You cut it, you open it up, and you take the shell off, even the little tiny shell at the ends. So you basically want it. And The size 21, I mean 1521, 1520 or 1621 they call it. It's like basically around 18 shrimp per pound. That's a perfect size. You can go smaller if you want, but it's nice to have a little bigger size so people can see it. The paella looks gorgeous when when you can see the items. So if you don't eat shrimp, you can move it in the side, and it just looks great. All right, it's cooking time. So you need a big pan for this. You don't want a salt water. You actually need like a pan like this to be able to hold enough food and to be able to be covered. So olive oil. Again, I'm using olive oil because Spain, where the paella came from, is the olive oil country. Believe me, that's the #1 item used. So we're gonna add some flavor. I diced 1 onion here. So 1 onion is like basically almost 1 pound. So small diced onion. We're just gonna sweat the onion. We're not gonna caramelize them. Just give them a little sweat. Meaning when they start steaming, like now, you see the steam coming out. They're sweating. And we're gonna add some chopped garlic, just like a teaspoon and a half of garlic is good. It's plenty. We don't want to burn their garlic, so we're gonna stir it a little bit. So what we want to do, we want to cook the clams in here, and we're gonna cover them up with the steam coming off the peppers and the tomatoes. It's gonna create a jus, and that steam is gonna actually open up the clams, and the clams are gonna release some liquid themselves. Actually, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna use the mussels first, because they're going to release more juice than the clams because they have more mussels, and that gives me time for them to cool off so I can work in taking the meats from inside. All right, so I'm sauteing my peppers here with the onion and garlic. My tomatoes diced. So I'm not creating any sauce here. I'm just creating a little jus flavored. And then so I have basically like 4 ounces of peppers, 3 ounces tomatoes, 8 ounces of onions, and 1 tablespoon of garlic. I throw all my mussels in there, 1 small bag. I cover it up. It doesn't take too long, folks. You gotta stay with it. You cannot leave this and go away and answer your phone or play a card game and come back. It's going to be ruined. Again, remember, you don't want to ruin anything. Everything's got to be perfect. This is one of those dishes you got to be around, and you got to be standing there, and you got to keep an eye on it. Turn your phone off and just focus, because it doesn't take too long to cook. It takes too long to prep, but it doesn't take too long to cook. Look at that, it's already opening. That means they're saying, I'm already done, almost done. And then I'm not fast forwarding anything, so you can actually see the time. Because if I fast forward, you don't see the time, so you can actually time it. When you duplicate this, you can actually do it exactly the same time. And believe me, it works. So as you can see, the steam is inside there. It's cooking the mussels, and I can see they're opening, mostly all of them, which is good news. When you get all the mussels opening, that means they're all good, fresh. When they are not open, they don't open, means they're dead, and you got to throw them away. You know, you always get 1 couple that are dead. But it looks like we're lucky today. So when the mussels are cooked, we're going to take them out and save them in the, what I did, I put the oven in just warm temperature, just to keep this warm. So look at this, beautiful, outstanding, smells great. So I take these out. I'm going to keep them warm and take some of them off the shell. The trick here is I'm going to cook the clams in the same pan because I already have the liquid I need. Usually you need to cook the clams with some wine, but I don't have wine. And I'm not going to go to the store to get wine. Anyway, I don't drink, but it's good flavor anyway, wines, but I'm not going to mess with that. It's too much risky going outside anyway these days. So stay home when you can and use what you can. So this is like a science. You create stuff. So you get the mussels. The mussels have more liquid. You get liquid in the pan now. That's enough liquid that's going to steam up your clams. So you're good to go. There we go. And everything is clean. You don't have anything to worry about. There you go. Watch how fast you're going to open up. You know, a lot of people think this is going to take half an hour to cook the clams. No, it doesn't. The pan is hot. The liquid is hot. And then what's good about this, the cover, when the cover like this glass cover is good because you can see when they're opening without having to take the cover off every time and lose all the steam. So that's good news. I can't wait to taste this, I'll be honest with you. This is beautiful. Again, no editing. We're just going to wait for them to start opening. And as you can see, some are already starting to open. It doesn't take too long. We're going to get a pan hot so we can saute our scallops in there. Now, did we add any salt? No, we don't need to add salt to the clams. They're already salty themselves. I really like to speak about this dish because it's one of my favorite dish, and I don't want to just write stuff down. I think it's very important that you really listen to like they said, there is no body language, but there is the voice language. You can listen to the passion behind this dish. It's just wonderful. And then we're doing a lot of things at the same time. But you don't want to forget that the clams are starting to open and they'll be done soon. So you got to be careful how you're going to jump from one dish to another. Anything that's overcooked is not good. I mean, seafood is like one of those. It's seafood. You don't want to overcook it. Basically, once you want to enjoy it, you really enjoy the flavor more when it's not overcooked. When it's just right. The clams and the mussels, as soon as they open up, that means they're done. You don't want to cook them more when they open up. And I think here we are really getting there. I think we almost ready. You see the foam? That's a good indication that they are almost done. So I think we should have weights for scallops. We should take the clams first. So we are going to take our clams out. It's just a couple not open yet. And you see it didn't take too long. Again, this was not fast forwarded. This is just the right time. So you can actually see how long it takes to cook a paella from A to Z. Look at those beautiful clams. Oh my God. Nice, beautiful. Fat and juicy inside. I mean, you can just tell when something is good and tasty. You smell it, you feel it. You know, when you've been cooking for so long, you just can tell. I don't know how to explain it, but you get like, you synchronize your feelings with the food. And like now, I know I gotta wait a couple minutes for the other clams to open. I might as well throw my scallops in there. The pan is hot, so it's good. It's doing a couple things at the same time. My rice is resting. It's very important for the rice. It's already cooked, but what it is, it's not cooked all the way. So what you do, you turn your heat off and you just cover it up and let it sit, and it continues to carry over cooking, and it gets perfect. All right, there they are. Look at that. They're all open now, except one. Now we're going to throw the chicken in there. Now chicken usually takes a long time to cook, but because it's such a small pieces, watch how fast it's going to cook. It doesn't take too long. So far we're in 33 minutes, and we're almost done. I mean, really, it doesn't take too long to cook the rest of the stuff. I mean, the cooking was very fast. I mean, 33 minutes that included the cleaning, which and mise en place. The scallops are looking great. I can see the beautiful color. Oh, it's going to be one of those beautiful dinners tonight. Nice paella with the family, friends. There's nothing, just nothing you can compare that to. And this is a good dish to have, for example, during Christmas, because if you only have few people coming home, you don't want to cook this big ass turkey that you don't know what to do with it. I think this will do. Now I'm throwing some peas in there. These are canned peas. You can use the frozen peas. I prefer the frozen peas because they have a bright color, but I don't have any frozen peas, so I use the canned ones. They're just as good. Actually more flavored, but just the color is not as green. And I throw capers in there. Again, it's a nice substitute for lemon juice. I had enough lemon juice for last 6 months. I mean, I'm just getting developing a great taste with the capers. It's unbelievable what the capers do to seafood. It's adds a really, really good flavor. So it looks like we're looking good. We got our clams cooked. We got our mussels cooked. Get the chicken cooking. We get scallops cooking. Even my daughter now is coming. She's smelling like, well, what's going on here? That is funny. She's going to be a chef one day. She's always curious when I'm cooking. All right. Looking good. So as you see, I only cooked half of the vegetables because I want to use the other half as a garnish. Some tomatoes, some peppers, and some peas. I'm going to throw them on top for the paella because we're going to flush it in the oven right before we serve it. And that's usually when it releases that juice over the rice. So looking good. Everything is cooking. Yeah. Just need some good music here. It looks like an orchestra. There's a drummer on one side. There's a guitar player. There's somebody playing the flute in the other side. It's like ten and all coming together. At the end, it's all going to come once. Bim. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful, again, let me say it again, beautiful, sexy dish. Scallops are done. I think now we got to add the shrimp and the, we're going to saute the squid because that pan is hot already. So why get a different pan? And everything's going to be mixed anyway together. So that's a really good way to save. So the squid again. My chicken looks like it's almost there. I think now I'm going to add the fish and the shrimp because the fish and the shrimp don't take too long to cook. Especially the fish when it's cut small like that. And here is the shrimp, shell off, deveined, no tail. Just be gentle when you're moving it because you don't want to break the fish apart. You don't need no caramelization here. You just want it cooked. So we're going to add some seasoning to this. A little salt, not too much because definitely garlic. So a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic, some paprika, half teaspoon of cumin. And then I'm going to add a half teaspoon of turmeric, some tomatoes, like 1 tablespoon, and let everything cook together. I think we're almost there. Our dish is almost done. Soon we're going to just assemble it and watch how we're going to assemble it. It's beautiful. You assemble it in a paella pan and then you just cover it up a little bit. You can either reheat it up or just like me, my guests are here already, so I'm just going to keep it a little warm until we set up the table, we're ready to eat. So check my squid. My squid, I want it to be a little crispy. I'm doing like almost like an Asian style without the Asian flavor. Stir fry. Because you don't want Asian flavor in the paella. You just want Mediterranean flavor. Some parsley, some olive oil, a little seasoning, pepper, tomatoes, capers. Those are the main flavor. And of course, the flavor of the seafood itself is just unbelievable, especially the clams and the mussels and infused with the garlic is just like to die for. You can cook some bread with this if you want. You can do some garlic bread, or you can do whatever you want. I just eat it like this with rice and seafood. That's plenty. You don't need anything else. Look at that. Shrimp already cooked. The fish is cooked. I tell you, it's unbelievable. I'm glad you're watching this so you can see the real cooking part actually is not even more than 30 minutes total. So this is a dish that you can prepare ahead, day before, get all your seafood cooked and stuff. Then when your guests arrive, they can have them drink a couple glasses of wine, and it will take you just like 30 minutes here to make it. Everybody's scared of this paella, but believe me, if you follow these steps and you listen to what I'm saying here, you will impress. Because I did impress. I mean, we had it. It was so good. It was unbelievable. I mean, my wife was the first. My wife was very hard to please, but my God, when you do something right, she's really happy and she really loved it. And then we had a couple of friends. The same thing. They just said it, unbelievable. Especially one from Spain. This is a Spain dish, so. Here's our rice. Look how fluffy it is. That's beautiful. That's the way rice should be. It should not be like sticky, mushy. Look at that. Again, remember, we didn't add too much liquid. It's fluffy. It's nice. We didn't overcook it. All it took is like 20 minutes less to cook. We add some seasoning. We let it rest. So we're gonna put the rice like almost like a pyramid in the center and some in the bottom, and we're gonna build our paella. I don't like to mix everything together. It looks like, for me, just there is no look. I like it beautiful. I like to put my food like a beautiful tableau. You have to design a nice tableau. So rice in the center. You go around with the seafood and make it look sexy, looks beautiful, look attractive, because you eat with your eyes as well. Here we go. And look at that rice. My God. Oh, boy. And then when you put all that seafood around it, it's going to suck the flavor. It's going to be more wet and juicy and flavor. Beautiful, beautiful. You can do this dish also with saffron if you want. In Spain, they have a really good saffron. And saffron is really good for you, actually. Very good for your health and stuff. But it's very expensive. I don't think everybody has saffron, so we use turmeric here. I'm trying to do dishes that people can do home. And sometimes I do in purpose. I say I don't have these items so you can learn how to substitute. Because this is still a teaching channel, so I'm not going to tell you to have everything perfect, and if you don't have it, you got to stop. No, continue, use your mind, think about what makes sense and what doesn't. Look at that juice coming out of the clams. Unbelievable. Where does it go? Right over the rice. There we go. That's what I was talking about. And then that's why you don't want to put too much salt in anything, because that juice is salty. We're talking about beautiful design here. You want the clams at the end because they're sharp. They will. You want to see them basically. You don't want to be biting on the clam shell and go try to see a dentist during this COVID time. It's not a fun thing. Look at all that juice. Beautiful. So we're going to continue decorating, and then that's our dish. Voila. It's simple as that. But the joy behind doing this is unexpected. I mean, I can't explain it. I mean, it's so beautiful. The ending of this is like winning the lottery. Like the dish is beautiful. It's not overcooked, especially when you taste it with friends and you look at their expression in their face and you see how they're enjoying it. Especially my friend from Spain is actually says, "Oh my God, this is better than a 5-star restaurant in Spain." Because the flavor. A lot of videos, and you can watch a lot of cooking videos. I don't want to say a lot, most of them, but some of them you can see that I'm a chef, so I can tell when there is cheating and stuff like that. They put in stuff together and then they're coming up with a paella already done from God knows when. No, with me you see the real thing. And especially today, because I want you to see how easy it is to do this. And you can actually do it. Again, we are at 47 minutes. But remember, we spend almost like 25 minutes cleaning the stuff, getting our mise en place ready. We'll probably just spend 30 minutes cooking. So think about Christmas or a party or you have guests home. That's what you need to think about. It's going to take me this much time. I'm going to make it happen. I'll look at the presentation. People are going to be like, wow, you know. So you get a little chicken here, you get some mussels here, so people can see that. And when they see it, they're like, wow. They think you took a lot of time doing this, you know. It adds value. It's like adding value to something. It's like, you know, it has more, it's more attractive like that. See what I did here? I made sure the juice is seasoned. And by tasting, you can figure out if you need to add more seasoning or none. You always want to taste your food. I don't think we want to add anything at this moment because you can tell the flavors are there. I'm adding the squid now. The reason you add the squid last because it's crispy, and the crispy items, you don't want them to be there first because they're going to steam up and they're going to be soft. You want them to stay a little crispier. What you don't want to add to a paella is anything that's fried, like breaded fried, because that's it's just going to ruin it. And it's going to ruin your fried stuff because it will get soggy. So this is the way. But I'm not saying this is the best way because other people will come and say that my way is better, their way is better. But this is my way. This is the way I love it. So everybody has their way, but this is what I know. This is where I grew up. I worked in France with a really good chef, and he taught me how to do this. He taught me how to enjoy it. And since then, I've been doing like this. I never had a problem. I did this for thousands of people, and there's no problem. People enjoy it. People like the fact that they can see stuff and decoration. It's like you put more effort, more love into your food. That's how you became like appreciated, and people will come back. But when you have a restaurant, though, you got to be careful. You got to be consistent. If you do use saffron and it's a saffron menu, you better have that saffron. You can't be substituting. But if you do substitute, you really want to get out there and tell the client that you are substituting. Because the clients, when they come to your restaurant, they're expecting things, and make sure you deliver. This is home cooking. This is basic cooking. Basic cooking, it's teaching. You can do things this way, that way. But again, remember, when you have a business, consistency, be consistent is very, very important. Whatever the menu says, you make sure you have it. If it says chorizos, sausage there, make sure you have chorizo sausage. We don't use chorizo sausage here because I don't have them. I don't need them. And this is actually have a lot of flavor. In France, where I work, we don't use chorizo sausage. But there is a lot of people believe that's the paella, chorizo. But I don't believe it. So again, do your way, your flavor, what you believe on. As long as the flavor come together, you get the mussels, you get the clams, and then you get the garlic, you get the chicken. You're good to go. Your seasoning. Look at that, beautiful. You get some herbs. And we are done. We're literally done here. We just garnish with some diced tomatoes, some peas, peppers, and then that's it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you don't want to keep this hot. You just want to keep it a little warm. Because if you keep it, you don't want to dry this up. You want to keep it juicy, slightly warm, and God forbid, you don't want to put it in the oven and bake it. I've seen people doing that. Oh my God. It's a mess. The rice gets overcooked, like cement. All the fish gets rubbery. You don't want to do that. The fish is beautiful, but if you overdo it, mess with it, it's garbage. You don't want to do that. This is beautiful. This is perfect. I get so passionate talking about this because this is real good stuff. Real good food. You will enjoy it. Please pass it on. Share this stuff. And don't forget to subscribe. There is more to come. This is just the beginning. I'm just getting excited. We're going to work in some order next. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do like a lot of small hors d'oeuvre and canapés. A lot of people are scared. They don't know what to do because they're all locked home. They usually go to a restaurant or they order food. You can do beautiful canapés, beautiful stuff home. Follow me. Subscribe. You will see. Every week I do at least a couple of good dishes. From now on, I'm doing like a very dishes with explaining in detail what to do with the recipes in French and in English. So this is fun. This is real. So we are at 54 minutes. So that means we spent 34 minutes cooking. It's not bad. To feed 6 people. I mean, do your math. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think 34 minutes is all it took. Look at that. That means you pass. You do that for me, I will hire you. Bon appetit. Voila. Enjoy.